We're here to grow. 13 million homes now. All right, join me this time from Washington, D.C. is Amber Barno. She is a national security analyst and foreign policy analyst with the Independent Women's Forum. She has served in combat both Iraq and Afghanistan with the U.S. Army for over 8 years, where she was a military helicopter pilot. Amber, welcome back to the show.
Hi, Rick. Thanks. It's great to be back.
All right. Great to have you again. So the big news, and it's developing, and what we want to talk to you about is the White House has accidentally leaked the name of a top CIA spy in Afghanistan. As I say, this story is developing and shaping and taking some twists and turns. Give us the latest, please.
This shows a level of incompetence at the White House at levels where we can't afford these types of failures. And unfortunately, there's procedures in place to prevent this from happening, as in, multiple checks in a row. And instead, it just shows laziness and sloppiness on behalf of certain White House staff, and somebody needs to be held accountable for this. This is people's lives that are at risk here.
Amber, the latest news that I've heard is the White House is saying that there's something suspicious here. Someone that leaked this. That's not a part of our team. That there's someone that something smells rotten here. Does this look to you as if it's the White House just trying to cover itself and lie to the American public?
Yes, I do. The last I heard, something similar, yes, they're launching an investigation into why the name was leaked. But why are they so quick to say that when this is instant, when it goes all the way to the White House, that there's something rotten going on here? But, for example, look at the VA. They won't make any negative comments about what's going on at the VA until the investigation is complete. So I think it's quite hypocritical of them when they're front and center in this issue.
Amber, very astute observation. The other troubling thing about this, Amber Barno, is that it was a Washington Post reporter who caught the situation and brought it to the attention of the White House. The White House had no idea this even occurred until a journalist brought their attention. You know what this reminds me of, Amber? It reminds me of when the Pakistani doctor who helped us locate the whereabouts of Osama bin Laden prior to him being taken out, when his identity was revealed to the Pakistani government and to the world, he now is serving a prison sentence because of that just boneheadedness by our U.S. government.
Yeah, that was criminal. He's did so much for the U.S. and now he's rotting away in a Pakistani prison. But to your point about the Washington Post reporter and some other news outlets, thankfully they understand the importance of keeping these identities of certain top-level CIA officials, especially ones who are in country, a secret. They have refused to publish his name, which I think shows a lot of credibility on their part when our own White House and the people who are entrusted to keep these secrets are leaking this information. It's a disgrace, and a lot of people, I mean, the more of these embarrassing blunders that come out of the White House, who's going to be wanting to fill these positions if they're security could be in question?
You know, I want to underscore what you just said, Amber. Kudos to the Washington Post. You know, they're the target of wrath on this show quite a bit. But when they do something patriotic, something that is in the best interest of America and Americans, they should be applauded. And I'd like to tip my hat to the Washington Post. Now, you're a veteran. You're a military pilot, served 8 years in combat experience, Iraq, Afghanistan. It's a tragic story, as we all know, what's happening to America's veterans as it relates to the VA system. Anything that you would like to offer in terms of specific ideas that you believe ought to be administered to correct the VA system?
Absolutely. There's many steps that need to happen. Number one, I've said it before, I'll say it again because it's the first thing that needs to happen, is accountability. The VA Management Accountability Act of 2014 needs to pass. in Congress to allow Secretary Shinseki the authority to fire his top-level management employees and really start making sure that those departments within the VA are doing what they're supposed to do. Because right now you can put out any memo you want, but if people have no repercussions for their actions, especially these ethical ones that we've seen with the most recent VA scandals, there's going to be no change. There needs to be flexibility and transparency and oversight, which is not what we're seeing with the VA as well. Americans, you know, they've had their first taste of Obamacare, but this VA scandal is just exactly what the rest of America is going to see with Obamacare. And so that's where the flexibility comes into. They really, with the VA, you might have everybody covered, but you're not necessarily getting quality care. So I think that's something important to remember as well.
All right, Amber Barno, National Security and Foreign Policy Analyst, thank you for joining us. On the other side of the break,